vaak contacten zijn.
Being a part of an International Ceramic Symposium Space Lab, a ceramic workshop, Garden of Delight, took place at the Academie in Den Bosch, September 90, Netherlands. 17 participants from 11 different countries joined the workshop, which was under the guidance of 3 internationally known ceramicists. Betty Woodman from the US, Bjorn Norgaard from Denmark, Michelle Kuipers from Holland. An important goal was to generate an exchange of information and experience. Most of them just graduated only recently from their academy. Being the teachers of the programme and all having affinity with monumental ceramic experience, they asked the students to relate space and architectural elements in their works going to be made. Next to the working period, the workshop also consisted of lectures and excursions.
In which I can show you a lot of commissions done in ceramics in Holland, with all the technical and possibly the conceptual aspects of it. Right?
During the 3-week lasting workshop, the students were staying at the Academy in prepared bedrooms and living room. This accommodation was at the same time an opportunity to get to know each other in a more convenient way.
Clear thing to me. It was not an abstract thing. It was practicality. You do it, and then you put your cereal in it or your coffee and you drink. You know what it's for. And that was very interesting to me. What was also interesting to me was, in some way, I think we have to tell this. That's where I started, and I really essentially did that for, I don't know, but for a long time. But now I'm going to start with showing slides, because I think when you wonder where to start, I always feel like where I am is where to start. So I'm going to show slides, and I'll start with some of the more recent pieces. I haven't put the very newest ones in the front of the carousel, but I'll start with the newer work and then sort of go back through history rather than starting with me as, you know, at 16 years old. You don't have to have everything.
One could work during academy hours at spaces in between normal classrooms, so in hallways, corridors, entrances, even the stairs were used. Tools and materials used were available from the academy. In the end, it appeared that a total of 300 tons of clay had been used by the students, next to other materials like wood, iron, to build up their works. As one of the excursions among others, the groups paid a visit to the ceramic department of the Rietveld Academy in Amsterdam. A tour took place through the department. There was the opportunity to have a talk with the students from the academy and some of the teachers. In that way, one could make a quick comparison with the situation at home.
So your students
From there, a trip to Den Haag was made to visit Structure 68, initiated by Henk for the possibilities of commissions got by artists, being executed by Trumpy and his companions in cooperation, of course, with the artist. Mr. Trumpy himself gave a good insight in how the commissions were being done.
In Holland we have a kind of rule that 1% of the building cost for public buildings, schools, swimming pools and that kind of institutions, they give 1% for art on the yeah, because the water is
is so practical.
not just sometimes to the left. I don't know if you're going to use it, especially for the thing. Now, well, it's more difficult to work in this. To research the pieces of it, it's impossible. You need frames, no? And that's so when he wants to do it by hand, that's the beginning of
Works of Michel Cuypers, having found their final destination, were being visited, and the artist himself gave a short explanation about how it all took place.
My background is very different from what we hear yesterday.
The Danish artist Bjørn Norgard, one of the workshop leaders, gave a slideshow projection and talked about his history of the last 20 years as an artist. Remarkable as the influence from Eastern cultures and Scandinavian artists. Influences may be going back to the original roots of the Normans or Vikings coming from the Far East. Gigantic monumental works are being executed in several European countries and America, where he also had an important exhibition in New York and Los Angeles in the Modern Art Museum.
Because I think it's interesting we have all people from all of these countries. Is this something that you see in your work?
You don't think about it.
No.
You're mainly an artist.
No.
While working, the works constantly changed in a process of discussing them with the teachers. Everyone could watch each other, and after talks they had at night when showing each other their previous works during the slide projections. Many changes were made the next day. In this way there was a meaningful exchange of ideas and knowledge everyone had.
Thank you very for your cooperation, and it was really nice working with you. I'm satisfied with the result, and I hope you too, and I want to give you my congratulations. And you know how we do that. Just a moment.
De staf van dit museum en de andere twee instellingen, ik kom daar dadelijk op terug op die samenwerking, die zijn al jaren bezig om toch van die samenwerking van hun instellingen en van dit museum een centrum te maken waar de grote nieuwe ontwikkelingen op het terrein van de keramiek in Europa getoond kunnen worden.
The opening of the exhibition Opera Selecta from Betty Woodman in the Museum of Modern Art, the Crowd House in Den Bosch was visited. There was a selection of 8 years of work made in Italy and America. I show the higher art, God on our side art. I work with animals art. I work with textiles art. I work with energy art. I do something with people art. I love you art. That's how it is, so leave it alone art. One more time art. Don't overstep the mark art. How it used to be art. Falling around art. I see such lovely things art. Look at me art. That's how it is art. That's what you get if you do that art. I found this and did something with it art. I see what you don't see art. That's it all about art. What's it all about art? And that's how it's going to stay art. Watch me torment myself art. That's what Towards the end of finishing the works, last talks were held to evaluate the process of working and discuss the result of it. In most cases, one was satisfied with the workshop and the organisation of it.
Dames en heren, opnieuw welkom. Een half uur later koos ik mijn lezing over recente ontwikkelingen in de Amerikaanse keramiek. Bedoeld als een vervolg van het inspirerende en fascinerende verhaal wat er vanmorgen wordt van de muziek Henk. You're welkom.
The lectures held for 3 days in the Kraut House under the name of Tools and Terms was an extensive programme of mostly American art critics, like Why Not Ceramics, an art philosophical lecture by George Woodman, American. Has work in clay become part of contemporary art? Has craft changed to art, or has the concept of art changed to embrace the craft? John Cormelung, Netherlands, about space and concept. Richard Humphreys, Great Britain, about Tony Craig's science fiction. The Mad Potter of Biloxi, The Art and Life of George Orr, by Eugene Hecht, American.